With more than 130,000 employees in more than 50 countries, NTT DATA is a trusted global innovator, helping clients transform their businesses through consulting, industry solutions, business process services, IT modernization, and managed services. Headquartered in Tokyo, NTT DATA is part of the NTT Group, which also includes NTT DOCOMO, Japan's leading mobile operator and a trailblazer in 5G technology. Together with industry partners, NTT DATA is shaping the future of the 5G ecosystem. Today, live from NTT DATA's offices in London, we meet some of those partners and look ahead to the open 5G future.
Hello and welcome to NTT's offices in Epworth House here in London. I'm Mandy Clark, and I'm delighted to welcome my panel of guests here today for the live 5G event. Joining us from Madrid, Spain is David Martin-Landis. He is the head of 5G cloud products and innovation at Telefonica, which is, of course, one of the world's leading telecom companies. Thank you for joining us, David. And also joining us from Japan is Sadayuki Abeta. He is the Vice President and General Manager of the Department of Radio Access Networks at NTT DOCOMO, which is, of course, Japan's largest telecoms, and also a leading 5G innovator. Thank you for joining us, Sadayuki. And also Taiji Doi, who is a 5G business promoter with the Telecoms Business Utility and Business Unit. Thank you for joining us as well. And here in the studio in London, Amol Shirsaga, who is a account director, at Mavenir Systems, which of course is a leading cloud-based software provider for the industry. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And finally, of course, our keynote speaker, Andy Tiller, who is the Executive Vice President of TM Forum, which is one of the leading industry bodies association.
Delighted to be here.
But before we kick off, let's first go to Japan for a welcoming message.
Greetings and a warm welcome to NTT DATA's online event on making 5G Open RAN a reality. I am Sai Shekhar, Head of Global Telecom and Automotive Industry, based out of NTT DATA Corporation Global Marketing Headquarters. As a technology integrator, we continuously pursue the trends that shape the future society. And today, we focus on open and disaggregated 5G network as a topic. For the next 1 hour, you would gain more insights and business ideas from the industry experts. Let me first share a quick note about who we are. We are the largest telecommunications company in Japan and one of the leading ICT companies in the world. NTT DATA is a system integrator, digital applications and cloud service provider rooted in the NTT family. With telecom as our core DNA, NTT DATA supports the telecom operators across the world to accomplish their goals. Our vision is to achieve a sustainable digital society. We are consistently working towards solving these social issues. To begin with, for the increasing energy consumption, NTT is trying to realize low carbon society. For the decreasing human resource, NTT is introducing proficient automated operations targeting an efficient society. For the growing digital divide, NTT is providing connectivity to the rural areas to blend them as a vital part of the well-being society. NTT's one such approach is IO1, Innovative Optical Wireless Network, a concept to realize a new smart society leveraging high-speed, real-time interaction between things and people. I would invite Taro Nakave, my colleague from NTT DATA Global Telecom, to say a few words on this subject. Taro-san.
Thank you, Sai-san. Hello, I am Taro Nakao, Global Telecom Head.
NTT DATA Corporation. Electronics for photonics is a key innovation which leverages photoelectric fusion devices to realize the all photonics network harnessing 5G technology. Within NTT Group, NTT DATA is devoted to the open and virtualized network. This will be the basis of the all photonics network, contributing to NTT's vision for low carbon, efficient, and a smart society. A few key mentions to NTT DATA's contributions and achievements. First one is multi-vendor integration, which is the essential capability for 5G open network. Software-based technology such as cloudification and cloud-based technologies opens virtualized network. Lastly, development of relatively low-cost network that contributes to the connectivity for rural areas. In addition, we believe that the future benefit of open and virtualized network will be further explored and realized. Over to you, Sai-san.
Many thanks, Taro Nakao. Today we have an exciting and esteemed experts and panelists representing our clients, partners, and our group companies. I hope all the attendees would find some interesting takeaway from the keynote and the panel discussion.
Welcome back, and now we have our keynote speaker, Andy Tiller, who's the Executive Vice President of TM Forum, with 25 years experience both at product marketing and product management in the telecoms and technology companies. You have kindly agreed to share TM Forum's take on the transition to 5G Open RAN. So without any further ado, Andy, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much indeed, Mandy. Yes, so the topic today is Open RAN, but I wanted to begin by just putting Open RAN into context of a broader trend in the industry towards open architectures and cloud-based deployments of IT and network systems. Open RAN itself, as we've heard, is about the disaggregation of the radio access network. So different components of the network that are specified by 3GPP can be acquired as independent building blocks from different suppliers and pieced together like Lego in a very agile way. So this is, we're talking about both the hardware and the software. So you could have a network which consists of radio nodes and other hardware which is provided by different suppliers and managed by software provided by yet another supplier. So this is really a big change in our industry. Traditionally, the radio access network has been non-standardized and quite complex, and so a single vendor would provide a solution which covers a very large geographical area. Now we're talking about much more flexible systems. And because of this disaggregation, people sometimes think that the main point of Open RAN is to relieve the operators of vendor lock-in. But I think that's quite a narrow view of what the industry is really trying to achieve with Open RAN and other initiatives towards open architectures and cloud deployments. What's really important is the ability to unlock business agility. And I want to sort of dive into that in a little bit of detail. But business agility is key to the future of our entire industry. It's something which is not just good for operators and system integrators, but also good for the suppliers of network equipment and software. Alongside this trend towards open architectures, we have another very important trend, which is about automation of processes and increasingly using machines to figure out the business rules that are needed to optimize customer experience and optimize performance of the network. So AI and machine learning to run operations for network and IT. So this is something which requires the systems to have a data architecture which exposes that data in real time to AI algorithms, and a mechanism whereby the machines can issue the instructions back into the systems to execute the processes. This is needed because the business processes and business rules are now far too complicated for humans to work out themselves. We need the machines to do it for us and to dynamically adapt those business rules in real time. So let's look at business agility and understand why it's so important and how we get that from initiatives like Open RAN and cloud architectures. Business agility is really about accelerating concept to cash. And when I'm talking about cash, I might literally mean cash. If the concept is a brand new service, the cash is money from selling that service to consumers. But if the concept is improved customer experience, the cash is essentially improved customer lifetime value and loyalty. If the concept is improved operational efficiency in the network, the cash is cost savings to the bottom line. So accelerating concept to cash is very important to the health of our industry. And traditionally, we have been very handicapped in doing things quickly, in accelerating concept to cash by our systems and processes. We have a lot of complex legacy systems which are heavily customized, both in the network and in the IT. And that has meant it's very difficult to change systems and processes quickly. These systems are often described as spaghetti because if you start tinkering with one area, you may have unintended consequences somewhere else. You have to unravel the spaghetti in order to be able to change systems and processes. So the ability to do this quickly is really, really important and is the key to unlocking the full potential of exciting new technologies like network slicing, IoT, NFV, edge computing. All these things can only be exploited if we have an ability to change our systems and processes quickly. Fortunately, there is an answer, and that answer has been proven in the real world by the hyperscale internet companies, which have developed methodologies and for building and maintaining and managing the software lifecycle, and also new ways of working. So these technologies are available to us. We can use them today. It's not just the Lego building blocks, but it's also new ways of working. So the ability to use DevOps. So instead of having one team designing and building the network and IT systems and throwing it over the wall to the operations team to then run the systems, we can have a single team working to manage continuous change, where the IT and network systems are being adapted continuously by a single team which is both designing, building, and operating. Of course, in our industry, it's not quite as easy to adopt these new methods and practices as it is for a large hyperscale internet company that can manage global deployment with tens of thousands of software engineers working according to a single company's corporate policies and rules. In our industry, our networks and IT systems are built from dozens or hundreds of suppliers of network equipment, of system integrators, of software, and that's just perhaps for a single country operator. To operate at global scale, we need cooperation in the entire industry on open standards which we all adopt and ways of working and best practice and methodologies that we all develop together. So it's really, in our industry, about collaboration. TM Forum has always been an organization which has a mission to foster collaboration in the industry, and we've traditionally been associated with the IT side of the business. But nowadays, as the network is becoming increasingly software, it makes sense to consider holistically the IT and network together. And that means you need a blueprint for a cloud-native telco which incorporates IT and networks in a single environment. So that's what TM Forum has been doing with our initiative we call the Open Digital Architecture. It's a blueprint for a cloud-native telco, and it's designed to build the IT and network systems out of these discrete building blocks, the Lego-like building blocks for zero-touch interoperability, but also to manage zero-touch operations by exposing a data architecture to AI systems which can issue the closed-loop instructions back to affect business processes. And also to create open environments where, through open APIs, we can have zero-touch partnering, and the IT and network capabilities can be exposed to partners for ecosystem and platform business models. We have 66 member organizations in TM Forum who have signed a manifesto to commit to building the open digital architecture, but in practice, many more of our 850 members are already contributing. Large parts of ODA are already mature and developed. Other parts need further work and development. So we're really keen to promote industry collaboration. I think it's important to say this is not just about technical specifications, but it's also industry collaboration about how to really deploy these new systems in the real world. So alongside initiatives to standardize Open RAN and to standardize open digital architecture, we need initiatives that look at practical deployment. So things like DOCOMO's OREC initiative, Open Networking Foundation. In TM Forum, we do this in various ways. We run, for example, a series of Catalyst projects where members get together and build proof of concept demonstrations and showcase them to their peers in the industry. I just want to close by highlighting one of those Catalyst projects which really illustrates the power of collaboration. It's one which was put together by 8 of our member companies, including NTT DATA, and it's called 5G Slicing as a Service for B2B2X using a cloud-based deployment. And this illustrates all the principles of openness, of automation, so the orchestration and order management for a network slice by a business customer can be fully automated and seamless, and service assurance is fully automated as well. So I'd encourage you to take a look at that and all of the Catalyst projects, and looking forward to further discussion of Open RAN today. Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you so much, Andy. I think that was a great introduction to the subject of open networks and how TM Forum is trying to make that a reality. And I'm sure all our panelists have lots of thoughts and questions to share on how this all comes together with open and virtual RAN. But first, Amal, I'd like to go to you to get your thoughts.
Thank you very much, Andy, for giving such an excellent view on what's happening. We at Mavenir are also excited about this new era of open networks. And if I may ask you one question, what one point is exciting you with this new era?
Well, I am excited about it because I really believe this is a new model for the industry. You know, in the past, we've had a choice between the monolithic system that is supplied by a single vendor, quite hard to change. It's like a painting that's beautiful but very difficult to move. On the other hand, a best-of-breed solution, more like a jigsaw puzzle, which is also quite difficult to change, carefully integrated with best-of-breed components. With this new way of building networks and software through really open standards, it offers a new kind of agility that we really haven't had. So I think it really can make a massive difference to our industry in the future, and it will be good for all of us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And what does it mean for Mavenir?
Yeah, so for Mavenir, obviously, just to give you the view, Mavenir in French stands for mobile future. So that's what we are excited for, the mobile feature. We are a 15-year-old telecom vertical software company. We provide the software which is used by the mobile operators to provide the various business critical things such as voice data services. We are pioneering the technology, and our vision is to build a single network which can work on any cloud and all software. So if I break those 3 elements, so we see that in the future there will be the single network which will supporting all the technologies that will be working on any cloud, whether it's a private cloud, public cloud, and all software, and that's where our history is. We have been virtualizing the software which doesn't depend on any hardware. Currently, we are supplying the software with 250 plus mobile operators all over the world, and that includes 17 of top 20 operators in the world as well. Coming back to this topic about the Open RAN, Mavenir has been working on the Open RAN for the last 6 years. We are the first in the world to have the containerized Open RAN that include the 5G massive MIMO as well. Earlier this year, we announced our containerized solution for 2G and 3G. Currently, we are working with 80 plus operators across the world. Those are engagement includes the pilot, commercial deployment as well. This includes tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers. So yeah, we are excited.
Amazing. And I'd love to bring David in. I know that you have some thoughts about 5G, private 5G as an enabler.
Yep. Thank you very much to have me here. In Telefonica, we've really been pushing Open RAN for the last years, and it's because of a very main reason, and that this new world that opens new innovators with software really helps us concentrate on making solutions solve very specific problems for specific market niches. And with Open RAN, what happens is we can bring new players into the ecosystem that can help us solve business problems of a new market. In the past, we started working with Open RAN in rural because there were specific things that we could do with these innovators to create solutions that could better adapt to the needs in rural areas. And right now, we think that Open RAN can really help us work with some of the challenges that we are facing today into scaling private 5G solutions. Specifically, we see that there's a really big opportunity today in private networks. We think that it could be the next new normal for the next wave of transformation. And combining 5G with edge computing, we can bring to our clients a new whole set of solutions that really transform verticals. What we see today is that there's a really big challenge in scaling this 5G and edge solutions to clients that are not really big or in industrial segments, to be able to take this to the next level to many other verticals and customers of different sizes. There are specific problems that we need to solve. And we think that opening the ecosystem with technologies such as Open RAN, we can design solutions that can help us solve some of these specific challenges that we see to scale this business.
Amazing. I'd love to bring in Sadayuki. I know that NTT DOCOMO is using Open RAN. Tell us how you're using it there.
Thank you. So Andy already mentioned what is the benefit of that Open RAN. So we NTT DOCOMO already deployed that Open RAN in commercial. We launched that 5G service March 2020, and our network is at fully interoperable multi-vendor. I mean that even in the same geographic area, we have a vendor A GNB and vendor B GNB. And also we have the 3 ENB, so LTE vendors, and those are connected through the X2 interface defined through GPP. And some details are defined in that ORAN interface, or ORAN alliance. So to using that 3GP interface and the ORAN profiles, we have already achieved that ENDC. So this is our current status. So as you see that we have the 3 ENB vendor, the two is commercial, one is now tested in lab and already almost completed. And for day one, we use the 2 different RU vendor B and C. And we selected the new vendor after the day 1 deployment. So this February, we selected additional 2 RU vendors based on that the cost and performances. So thanks to that open interface, we can add the new vendor very easily. We don't need to replace anything. We can just add the new vendor according to the deployment scenario. And we also established Open RAN X system here. This is announced this February. And our partners include hardware vendor, software vendor, accelerator vendors, and also the platform vendor, and also, of course, NTT DATA. And in this Open RAN ecosystem, we have the shared open lab we call the OREC testbed. This testbed, the operator can remotely access to our testbed and doing the test. So operator can reduce the time to do the POC or reduce the cost to do the POC. So they can easily experience Open RAN network. And I showed our lab in here. Actually, we have the multiple lab in our R&D center. This is one of the room. There are the code server, and there are the several serial box. Inside the serial box, there are RU, remote head, and we can set the multiple RU here, and just using the switch, we can change the RU. So multi-vendor, a different combination we can support it. So the open network is already real, not the concept. So we can choose, we can add a new vendor very easily, and this lab we also work with SMO, include the OSS and RIC, work with the NTT DATA. We can do that the RIC test in this test bed.
Amazing.
So,
thank you. And I'd love to pick up what you mentioned when it comes to that multi-user integration. And I know NTT DATA in Tokyo is doing the same. So Taiji, can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, in order to make it the reality, I believe the most important thing is to integrate the 5G Open RAN in the multi-vendor environment. And also, NTT DATA has a lot of experience in developing the mission-critical systems with multi-vendor, with a lot of the vendors. And now, in order to bring that kind of knowledge and experience, our experience into the 5G Open RANs network systems, that we are working with various vendors like Mavenir, and also we are working on in the DOCOMO Open RAN ecosystem, as well as the TM Forum Catalyst project. So therefore, in that activities, we can bring our experience and knowledge into the 5G Open RAN network integrations to accelerate the 5G Open RAN systems.
Amazing. And just to bring this back, is this what we're seeing, that we're seeing development happening at different paces across the globe?
Definitely, 5G is rolling out at different paces across the globe, and there's still, there's further developments in the standards. We're looking forward to the wide deployment of standalone 5G, for example. But I was very interested in what David was saying, because one good approach to beginning with a new technology is to put it into a smaller, isolated environment. So private networks, I think a lot of operators are seeing a big opportunity to deploy for factories, for hospitals, for public environments, but essentially on different frequencies and separate from the macro network. That's something which requires a lot of system integration with working with the sensors and other equipment you have to integrate to the 5G network. I'd be interested in Telefonica's views about how you're going about that. Will you play the system integrator role yourselves, or work with other companies to do that?
So if we look today at 5G networks, the reality is that they are one of the most complex systems that as humankind we have developed. Because there's many different components. At the end, we use the network and everything seems more or less simple, but putting all the pieces together is complex, as we all know. And when we look at that, going, for example, into private networks, delivering this to a factory is like building your own puzzle. You have to get the devices, you have to get the radio access, the core network, the cloud, the applications that you put on top. There's many different components which add a lot of complexity and also a lot of cost to the delivery. And when we put Open RAN into the equation, as you said before, Andy, specifically, you are also dividing the access into software components, hardware components, orchestrator, and so on. So at the end, everything gets more and more complex. But the truth is, we see this not so much as a problem, but also we see that the main ways in which the foundations of Open RAN are being built can also be the solution. Because as I think that you mentioned before, when we look into how we solve all this complexity, the key thing is leveraging learnings that we have brought from the cloud ecosystem to help us put all the pieces together in a more automated manner, in a way that we don't have to do so much manual integration. So as Telefonica, we are putting a lot of effort in some of these components, being able to control them ourselves, have the control in how we can automate and do some basic testing in putting all the pieces together so that we can deliver this type of projects to our clients in a more digital way, in an experience that ensembles much more the one-click to deploy experience that we see in other segments. So right now we are combining these own pieces that we are developing inside Telefonica with also help with some of our partners that are also helping us build all these pieces. And I put a very good example that we've worked with this in Mavenir at the beginning of the year. To be able to generate this one-click to deploy experiences, it is key that all the networking components are also built in a cloud-native manner. And when they are built in a cloud-native manner, you can generate this massive automation. So it's key for us to work with our partners to make sure that the solutions fit all the general cloud-native processes and tools that we are using, so that we can generate this sort of experiences.
Amazing. And I know we've talked a lot about Open RAN, and Sadayuki, I'd like to bring in a bit of virtual RAN, and where are we at that?
Yeah, thank you. So for virtual RAN, we just started from this February, and we work with a partner including the Mavenir and NTT DATA, and lab just started this October, so just one month before. And we work with them, and so some integration is that the vendor support, and between that the equipment, for example, the DU and CU and CU and DU and RU, that so interoperability testing doing the DOCOMO by ourselves. So because we have the long experience from the 4G era. So working with them and split the work with them, and we can accelerate that so we don't work. And as mentioned, that our lab is the shared lab, so we also would like to work with the operators to reduce cost and time.
Fantastic. Amal, when it comes to that, what was your experience?
Yeah, I think it's particularly, as mentioned by colleagues, obviously from the live trials or deployment, what we are doing is obviously the topic which we already discussed. Integration is one of the most important area. Operators are using the different models, particularly some operators are acting as a complete integrator by themselves, or someone are nominating individual supplier to act as an integrator on that one. And obviously the cloud area, which is going to be important area, means operators have experience about the cloud with the core deployment, but moving into the RAN area, it's a complete different thing. And obviously the RAN is wide, so you need more automation as well. And I think that's what we are seeing, operators are putting efforts in terms of automation, because if you want to deploy 1,000 sites, you can't do the traditional ways. You need to find the new ways of automation.
It sounds like it's citing a reality, but Andy, is there skepticism in the industry that it can be done?
Well, there are skeptics, obviously, commentators who would point out that, Open RAN is still only going to be a small percentage of the radio access networks worldwide, even in a few years' time. But I think that's really missing the point. You can't expect to suddenly create a whole worldwide network overnight, and it takes time to build up that experience. Even if you have all the components and all the pieces and all the standards, it takes time to develop the expertise in using them. With the Lego analogy, you have to begin by playing. You can't build a scale model of Notre Dame on day one. You don't know how to integrate those complex roof tiles, all of that stuff. You've got to learn, and the industry is learning together. I think it's great to see initiatives where lots of companies come together to work. I'm interested to find out more about DOCOMO's OREC testbed, because I think those are the things that can really take us forward and work out the practicalities in the real world.
Sadayuki, do you want to tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Yeah, actually, so we work with that and to find that what will be the problem, or sharing our experience with other operators, and we would like to accelerate the open network. So if that we can accelerate an open network, we can choose more vendors. That is also benefit for us. And if we use a shared lab with our operators, that is also beneficial for us. So we just do the work just for us, not for just for us. We work with that with them and provided accelerating the Open RAN.
Great, and Taiji, I'd love to hear from you to find out how NTT DATA is going to power the 5G future.
Yes, as I said, the 5G is becoming the more software, and we have to combine the IT system and the network system with the software technologies. So that's the most important things to make it reality. And also that in order to succeed the interoperability testing with the multi-vendor environment, we have to bring our experience, and of course we had a lot of the experience in the multi-vendor environment development. So by using that kind of the experience, we can accelerate the 5G Open RAN integration around the world.
Taiji, one of the things you mentioned earlier was integrating the new Open RAN into the existing macro network environment, which I think is one of the key challenges for the industry to solve. How far progressed do you think we are with that in your experience in Japan especially?
Oh, good question, good question. But of course, we have a lot of experience to bring the cutting edge technology in the IT system development. In order to bring the new technology, we have to start the small portions of a small network. Of course, then we can get the experience a lot from that kind of experience. Then by using that kind of experience, then we can expand the technology, like the Open RAN technology, into the mass area of the network. Then we have to take a step by step. So that's the one key things to make it real.
Fantastic. Thank you all for your fascinating insights. And I find what makes this panel really unique is that it comes from all around the industry. We have cloud providers from the telecoms and, of course, industry-wide bodies. I would love to get your thoughts in a quick fire round of what the 5G, the future of 5G and Open RAN. But before we do that, we'd like to hear some parting words from Sai Secker.
Thank you for being with us. I hope you were able to gain insights into 5G, ORAN, and how instrumental these services and technologies are to shape the future. A special mention to our panelists and experts from TM Forum, Telefonica, Mavenir, NTT DOCOMO, and NTT DATA for their fantastic insights. We also appreciate the team for connecting us virtually and tuning this event into a reality. Thank you once again, and hope to see you all in person once the world becomes normal. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Signing off from NTT DATA Corporation, Tokyo.
And before we sign off from London, I would like to get your final thoughts in 30 seconds or less, if you could, on today's topic, starting with you, David, in Madrid.
Yeah, so from our side, we think this is, although we've done a great progress, this is really the beginning. This putting all the software into the network goes well beyond just the access. We are seeing this in the access and other elements such as the core network, where we are working also in how we can build a more open ecosystem into the core. And we believe that in the next decade, we are going to see how, in general, all the networking ecosystem is going to grow with a faster pace of innovation. And we think that technologies that open this to new innovators are really going to help us discover new areas of opportunity where we can accelerate specific business with specific new capabilities that this new innovator will bring to us. So I think that it's just the beginning, and we are really optimistic on what we're going to see in the next couple of years.
Thank you, David. And over to you, Sadayuki.
So open network I think that we can introduce that new things very easy. That means new innovations. If that a company find or a company provide, the single network case, we need to wait that the company provide new solutions. But the open case, we can easily add. So we can achieve that open innovation working with that partners. So open network, I believe that we can provide more more cost efficient, more energy efficient network using for example, the RIC or others.
Thank you for that. And to our host, Taiji.
Okay, thank you very much for joining the panel sessions. And actually, the NTT DATA, the challenger in the 5G mobile network area, but we have a lot of experience of developing the cutting mission critical systems, and also to succeed the 5G Open RAN. One of our challenges is how to bring the new players into the 5G mobile network deployment. So we have a lot of we are working with a lot of the vendors, like of course Mavenir. So we need to think about how to collaborate each other, how to accelerate the 5G Open RAN.
Thank you, Taiji, and thanks for NTT DATA for hosting this wonderful event. Back here in London, Amal, what's your words of wisdom?
Yeah, so as an Open RAN ecosystem, now there are products available. They are proven as well. And what we see, 2022, 2023 are going to be the prime year. So just go for it. Yeah, products are there.
Fantastic. And the final thoughts, of course, with our keynote speaker, Andy.
Well, I think these are exciting times in our industry. We've really got an opportunity to do new kinds of innovation. What's really key to that is that the industry keeps working together, so let's collaborate.
Fantastic. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules. And thank you for joining us from your offices and homes to find out more about the future of 5G. We hoped you liked the discussion as much as we did from all over the world. Thank you and goodbye.